What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. We're once again back with another offseason rebuild, but this time we're circling back all the way to the teams that never made it to the playoffs or anything like that. We had two teams left to do, that being the Brooklyn Nets and the Houston Rockets. And as you guys can see today, we are doing the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are one of those teams right now that probably have one of the worst futures in the NBA. They've actually been in this spot before, back when Billy King made all those trade, that trade for like the KG Paul Pierce thing. So they're basically back in the same spot where they once were, where they have none of their picks. Their future is very bleak. It's just a tough spot to be in. So what I'm going to do is jump into this Brooklyn Nets offseason rebuild and do my very, very best to dig them out of this hole. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like on this one and subscribe if you are new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. But before we start talking about the Brooklyn Nets, let's see who wins the championship fairly quickly, and then we can get straight in the offseason and figure out what we're going to do with this gigantic mess we have on our hands. As we have the Knicks and the Clippers in the finals, and the Knicks going to win the championship. One of the scrappier teams in the playoffs right now, going to win it all. Shout out to them. LeBron James is trying to retire. I'm going to override that here at least once. And now here we are on the draft lottery, which is usually very exciting for one of these teams that didn't make the playoffs or the play-in. But as we know, for us today, that doesn't matter. Our pick is going to the Houston Rockets no matter what. So, and that's probably going to be what it's like for the foreseeable future. So our pick ends up at pick number 10. So we don't get to keep that pick. It's going to the Houston Rockets, as I mentioned. So now let's go take a look at this roster and see what we're working with. So Mikal Bridges, Claxton, Cameron Thomas, Cameron Johnson, Dennis Schroeder, Dorian Finney-Smith. Clearly this team is not very good. They weren't very good this year. They didn't make the play-in or the playoffs, as we know. So this team is just in a very rough spot. They don't have control of their future. But one thing they do have going for them is they do have control of the Suns' future, which, if they lose this series to the Timberwolves as they're down 2-0, who knows what the Suns' future is going to be like. That's definitely interesting to at least have that. I think they have a Mavericks pick in the future as well. So they do have some things going for them, but they don't have their own, control of their own draft picks. Their picks are going to continue to go to the Rockets. They've been in this spot before. When Billy King came in and made that gigantic trade for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, they watched Jaylen Brown, guys like Colin Sexton get drafted with their picks. So they've been in this spot before, and I think Sean Marks is the team that turned this team around. And eventually, as we know, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving came over in free agency. Now they're back at square one. But it's a little bit better because, like I said, they have control of some other teams' future picks. But outside of that, you have Mikal Bridges, you have Clax, you have Cameron Thomas. Like, those are good guys, but they're not guys that are going to lead you to the playoffs. Now, you could argue maybe bring in like a Donovan Mitchell or something, and this team is a champ or a playoff team, but I don't think that makes you a contender. For me personally, I just think we tear it down still. It's going to suck to watch our draft picks go to other places, but I just still think it's the best thing to do here is trade Mikal, get as much value as you can right now. Probably should have traded him years ago, but here we are now. Keep Cameron Thomas around, re-sign Claxton, and figure out whether you're going to keep him for the future or trade him. Probably trade Cameron Johnson, probably trade Finney-Smith, completely just tear this bad boy down. That's what I'm going to do today. I think that's what makes the most sense. Now, we are going to prioritize other things in trades, like maybe we're going to try to get a couple young players back in return to bring some excitement over here. So we're not just going to just trade for draft picks and that's it. So there's going to be a strategic way of doing this. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a long road ahead of us, but we're going to get this done and we're going to turn this team around. So make sure you strap in, grab some popcorn, whatever you got to do to relax, because this video could be a long one. I'm not going to lie. This is going to be a tough one, a little bit of a bumpy road, but we're going to get it done. So let's get to work. Let's start with some trade. Actually, let's fill out this coaching staff first because it's completely blank. And then we'll get into probably trade Mikal Thomas, or not Cameron Thomas, Johnson and Finney-Smith this offseason at the very least. Today's video is brought to you by DGF's Optimizer. If using apps such as PrizePicks, Underdog, or any other DFS app, having a tool like this is so clutch to finding good plays right in front of you without having to do any research whatsoever. I just opened this up and I already found a good play that easy. Joel Embiid under 5.5 assists. As you can see, why do you think, you may be asking, why is that a good play? Why should I be considering Embiid under 5.5 assists? Well, as you can see, every single sports book is favoring the under of Joel Embiid's 5.5 assists. All these sports books are like billion-dollar companies that bring in a bunch of bets and they, favor the over or under depending on where the market is. And right now, every book is favoring the under of Joel Embiid's 5.5 assists. So that would be considered a good long-term play that I would play personally for myself. But yeah, if you want to check out this tool, I found that play within 2 seconds. We could probably find other plays as well. You have Kyle Gibson over 4 strikeouts. Every book has it at 4.5, so you're getting a discrepancy there. Josh Hart under 4.5 assists. Every book's favoring his under as well. So yeah, found those plays within 2 seconds. Ever since I started using this tool, I've become a much profitable sports bettor. Results are as shown. If you want to check out this tool, link is in the description below. Use code Crushables, 25% off your first month. And of course, I use it on apps such as PrizePicks, which I'm also partnered with. You guys probably know what PrizePicks is by now. It is very popular now. But if you choose between 2 to 6 players, 2 players being 3 times your entry, all the way up to 6 players being 25 times your entry. For example, if you wanted to go over 14.5 points on Jaime Jaquez, you could do that. If you wanted to go over to Jason Tatum over 25.5 points, you can do that as well. You don't even have to just keep it all basketball. You can go to any other sport that they offer. If you really wanted to, you could go all the way to darts and click on one of these stats on darts if you wanted to. I don't know nothing about darts, so I'm not going to personally. If you wanted to combine it with soccer, MLB, NHL, you could do that. The possibilities are endless on PrizePicks. Make sure to check it out. They match first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100 when you use code Crushables. So Crushables on the optimizer, 25% off first month. Crushables on PrizePicks, match first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. But other than that, let's get back to the rebuild. So the coaching staff is not completely filled out. As you guys know, I usually mention this all the time. The first head coaching pool is not very good, so I just gave Kevin Ollie a 1-year deal. He's going to be the head coach for one more season or whatever. And now we're straight into free agency already. First step here is we're going to re-sign Claxton. Even if we don't plan on keeping him long-term, losing him for nothing would be a disaster. So we are going to re-sign Claxton. He's going to be on a really good contract as well. I think any team is going to want to trade for him in the future if we ever do make him available. So that's a good first step, is keeping Claxton around. That was very, very important. And we have the ability to sign him in MLE if we want to as well, which I do believe we should consider because we have the ability to sign a young player potentially. So like we can give an offer on Killian Hayes. Like this is the kind of deals we're going to make. We're going to take flyers on young guys that maybe didn't pan out somewhere else. Now Killian Hayes is someone I'm probably not looking at, but we're going to keep looking for some guys similar to like Killian Hayes, like 22-year-old. We can sign them in free agency. That's great. Like Isaac Coro kind of sticks out to me. We're not going to be able to draft young players, so maybe we sign them in free agency. Marjon Beauchamp maybe is someone we can consider as well. So that's kind of the deals we are going to be looking at today. Bull, maybe. I actually kind of like the idea of giving Beauchamp an offer. So I'm going to offer Marjon Beauchamp a contract. See if we can make him a rotational piece for us. If he's not going to be in Brooklyn anymore, maybe we can make him something over here. Let's keep looking, though. So maybe we got a big man as well. I don't know if I just signed Beauchamp, if that would give me the... Okay, so I can still sign one more player, which is great. So we're starting off with some free agency deals here. Do we have any, like, we can give Goga Badazze a contract. I think our center position's locked up. We're going to have Dameron Sharp and Claxton, so we're good on the center spot. Jordan Nwora, Derek Jones Jr. Let's pan by age. So none of these guys are really sticking out to me, of course. We have Brandon Boston, who's down here as well. That could be interesting. We threw him an offer sheet. We have Chris Murray, who is now a free agent, which is interesting. What else we got? Is there anybody else that's fairly interesting? Josh Okogie, 25 years old. I don't know if there's anybody else that's that interesting to me that's left out here, unfortunately. So Scottie Pippen Jr. maybe, but yeah, I mean, outside of that. So we got Mr. Marjon Beauchamp, which I like the idea of that, bringing him in. Maybe we give him a starting spot right away, see what he can do with it. But next, we turn our attention to some trades. That's the most exciting part, right? Is figuring out what we're going to do with Mikal, Cameron Johnson, and Dorian Finney-Smith. Those are the three guys we're absolutely trading this offseason. No questions asked. We're moving on from all of them. So Finney-Smith, we're going to start with you. I'm going to make your overall as best as it can be. I think Finney-Smith could easily go for 2 firsts in real life. So we're going to try to look for that kind of market for him. We'll see if we can get lucky with that. So I actually could see Oklahoma City Thunder making a lot of sense for Dorian Finney-Smith. So I am going to try to make something happen here with Oklahoma City. It looks like they have the cap space to just absorb him. So they want to give me Lindy Waters, but I don't really want Lindy Waters. I'm going to come some of the young guys that maybe won't ever get minutes. Like Ousmane Dieng, for example. He's got, what, how many years left in his contract? He's got 2 years left on his deal. If I can find a way to get Ousmane Dieng in this trade along with a first-round pick, I don't think we're going to be able to make this happen, though. They want Cameron Thomas. I'm not doing that, obviously. We're going to keep Cameron Thomas. So Ousmane Dieng might be optimistic thinking. Is there any other young players they could throw in here? Is like Aaron Wiggins someone that they might consider? Probably not. They want to give me Jalen Wilson. I have to trade a 2028 first. I can't do that. Yeah, so it's probably going to have to be Lenny Waters, and I'm going to try to make it 2 first. I would have loved it to be, maybe something different, but let's say it's Finney-Smith for these 2 first-round picks, along with Lenny Waters. They want Jalen Wilson to give me a second. That's totally fine. So we get 2 first-round picks for Dorian Finney-Smith. Now, I wanted a better young player than Lenny Waters. I'm going to be honest with you, but I think this is still a decent trade that we got to take it. So Finney-Smith is going to Oklahoma City. He would probably be a really good fit there anyway. So he fits very well there. And next, we'll turn our attention to Cameron Johnson. So I'm going to make his overall as best as possible as well. So let's try to trade him. Successfully, I've traded Dorian Finney-Smith. Now it's time to do the same thing with Cameron Johnson. So I kind of like this idea of trading with the Indiana Pacers. Instead of getting draft picks, we're getting 2 young guards. We're getting like Andrew Nembhard, not someone who's ever going to be like a franchise player by any means, but he's under team control for 2 more years. We'll have to trade a second. We're also getting Ben Shepherd, who's under team control for 3 more years. this is like 2 young players I'd be very happy to have. Now, yeah, I think I'd do this trade. Now, I would love to squeeze the first round pick out of them as well, which I don't know if I'll be able to do this, but we'll try. Yeah, it's going to have to come down to us trading first. So I'm actually cool with just doing this straight up. Second, whatever, so that's fine. So we're going to get Nembhard and Ben Shepherd for Cameron Johnson. Is there a young... imagine I get Juris Walker. I don't know if I can... No, he's way too valuable. So let's keep it at that, and we're going back. I should just do the original trade, but whatever. So we'll do that. Fine. Just like that, we got Mr. Andrew Nembhard. So Andrew Nembhard, again, is not someone that's like I'm jumping up and down for. But hey, we got a young player here. We're trying to get young players here, and that's what we're doing. So Nembhard, welcome to Brooklyn. And last but certainly not least is Mikal Bridges. It is time to see what we can get for Mikal Bridges. I have 2 trade partners in mind that I think make a lot of sense for him. So I'll try to build these trades out first. First one would obviously be the Knicks, reuniting him with some of his Villanova boys. Seems like that's something that could definitely happen. They have some young players they just drafted as well that maybe could be interest to us. So like maybe we got Bojan's expiring contract. The Mikal Bridges reunites with some of his boys in New York. Let's say they gave us, I would love Miles McBride. I don't know if they would give me Miles McBride. Let's say that Detroit pick's not actually unprotected in real life anyway. Let's say we get that 2026 Knicks pick, and then maybe one of these young players you just drafted. Let's say we get Trey Alexander. I don't know if they would do this trade, but I wouldn't mind this, getting Miles McBride, who's a very good player. I don't know if I could turn him into like a starter by any means, but I know he'd be very important for New York, so maybe they wouldn't, want to move on from him, which right now they're saying no. If I threw Lenny Waters at you, does that make a difference? Probably not. And I'll throw you a second. And yeah, so they're not going to do this trade. So the other team I was thinking about, so we can't do it with the Knicks. The other team I was thinking about, the Grizzlies, who have shown interest in Mikal Bridges in the past. So let's say we got Clark from them, and we get, they just drafted Cody Williams, but I think that's a little too steep of an price tag. So Mikal Bridges, Clark, and Zara Williams. What if we got, I wonder if I could squeeze G.G. Jackson out of them. I highly doubt it, but I'm going to try. So let's say we did Clark, Zara Williams, G.G. Jackson from Mikal. What do you say to that? They want Cameron Thomas. It's going to be Vince Williams. Oh, gosh. No, I can't do it. I can't trade Cameron Thomas, unfortunately. I would love G.G. Jackson in this trade, but I don't think this is going to be possible to do. I'll throw you Lenny Waters and Keita Bates-Diop. Hopefully, we're getting to the point where it's too much money. What if I threw Diop without, nope, it has to be Lenny Waters and let's say a couple second-round picks. I don't know if that's going to make a difference at all, but I am trying to get G.G. Jackson off them if I can. They want Nembhard. They'll give me Vince Williams. I don't really want to trade Nembhard, to be honest with you, but getting Vince Williams is not bad. Vince Williams and G.G. Jackson from them. They get Mikal Bridges. Any way I can make this someone else than Nembhard, and I would do this trade. Maybe it's Daron. No, it's not going to happen. Damn, we're so close to making this happen. Can I throw you... No, that doesn't make any sense. Ah, man. Nembhard is not someone to break this trade over. I think getting G.G. Jackson, Vince Williams is very, very solid. We're doing this trade. We get Mr. G.G. Jackson back in return for Mikal Bridges. I think that's very solid to give us a little bit of hope here. So, G.G. Jackson is going to be a huge prioritization here. Right now, he's listed at power forward. Can I move him to 3 and he would go up? He does go up, so that's fantastic. So, G.G. Jackson, welcome to Brooklyn. You're going to have the freedom to do whatever you want here, more than likely. Schroeder, Ben Simmons right now is our per good rotation. So this was a long offseason as I thought it would be. But we have a bunch of young small forwards now. We have like no power forwards at the moment. Clark, Sharp. But this is kind of what it was going to be. It was going to be building a weird roster. I think I'm going to move Simmons to power forward just because we don't have anybody to play that position right now. You're going to play power forward Simmons. And then we'll have probably like one of these guys will get some minutes at the power forward or whatever. So yeah, this is probably going to be the roster we roll is still. So let's go straight to player progression and let's see what this is about to look like. So very funky rotation we're about to have, but it was necessary to, make these trades, tear it down a little bit and figure out where we're going to go from here. So this team isn't going to be very good, of course, but we've taken back some young players. I'm going to get Beauchamp some minutes. I'm going to get all these young players we've signed and brought in some minutes here and just see what this turns into. Maybe one of them blossoms. That's kind of basically the point here. You just bank on guys, trading for guys, and hoping something happens. That's basically when you're at this point where you don't have your draft picks. This is the kind of approach I would take personally. And I think that's kind of what they took back then anyway. Let's go take a look. We got to cut 2 players out of the rotation really quickly. So I'm going to cut Mr. Jalen Martin. And also Keon Johnson can go as well. So we'll do that. And now let's take a look at this rotation. So rotationally, this is what we're looking at. It'll be Schroeder, Cameron Thomas, G.G. Jackson, Ben Simmons, Claxton, Vince Williams, Brandon Clark, Daron Sharp, Marjon Beauchamp, and Zara Williams. I'm going to go 10 rotation here, and then we're going to shrink this down to 50, and that will be what we kind of do here. And then we are going to probably send a couple guys to the G League. Like, I think Clowney and Ben Shepherd are going to the G League. Is Dariq Whitehead already moved to small forward? Because I know he goes up if you do. He is already moved to small forward. I think we do this with Dariq Whitehead and Clowney. I think we develop these guys as much as possible. I would love to do it with or with Ben Shepherd as well, but I don't have enough. I can't send 3 players down, unfortunately. So we're doing that. And then we will probably get Ben Shepherd some minutes, maybe once we trade Dennis Schroeder. Actually, you know what? Let's just trade Schroeder right now. Why didn't we do that earlier? Let's just trade Dennis Schroeder right now. And let's just give Ben Shepherd point guard minutes. It's not going to make any sense, but it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, maybe we're not going to be able to trade him. We get a second round pick. Miami gives us, yeah, that's fine. We take on Robinson's contract, which will expire anyway. We kick Doug Robinson out of the rotation completely. That's fine with me. So we'll do that. Now, Doug Robinson took someone's minutes, but he is not going to play at all. So let's go ahead and just take him. Maybe not out of the rotation. Yeah, he's coming out of the rotation completely. He's not going to be prioritized here. So we're going to go Beauchamp up here, Doug Robinson, and I'm going to fix this. But you guys, just so you guys know, and our point guard right now is Gilliard. It's going to be Ben Shepherd, because why not? So Ben Shepherd's going to play point guard for us. And that will be our rotation. Is Ben Shepherd point guard? I actually have no idea. I don't know anything about him, but he's going to play point guard regardless. So this rotation is about to suck. But none of that really matters, man. This is all about just seeing what sticks. That's basically where it's all boiled down to at this point. What position is he listed at anyway? Ben Shepherd is listed at shooting guard. He's 6'6". Playmaking is C+. So he probably shouldn't be playing point guard, but it's fine. All right, I'm going to go ahead and submit this season. One other thing I want to look at is shot tendencies. Cameron Thomas is a 99, which he'll probably go off. I'm going to do the same thing with G.G. Jackson. Let's push his up like crazy. Let's allow him to do whatever he wants here, because why not? So Cameron Thomas and G.G. Jackson have all the freedom in the world to shoot a bunch of shots, as many as they want. What could possibly go wrong? I'll see you guys at the end of the season, where this team is probably going to be absolutely horrendous. So Shea wins MVP, Alex Sarr Rookie of the Year, Armin Thompson 6-man Wemby Defensive Player, Asar also Most Improved, Edwards Clutch Player, and Mark is your Coach of the Year, and John Murphy is your Executive. So, of course, we're not going to have anybody on All-NBA team, All-Rookie team as well. We did not have any rookies, of course, either. So, who are your end of the season stats? So, I'm curious to see how... Yeah, so G.G. Jackson and Cameron Thomas both averaged 20, which is great to see. I mean, we pushed their shots in the season up like crazy, so I hope so. Ben Shepherd played point guard and only averaged 1 assist. Obviously, not the game plan going forward. Claxton, 9 and 9, and then 8 from Clark. So, yeah, overall, this team, not very good, as we kind of knew that's what was going to happen. So, let's go see who wins the championship. We got the Mavericks going to the finals as the 8th seed, and they lose to the Cavs in 6 games. Donovan Mitchell wins the championship. LeBron James is going to retire officially this time around. All right, to the lottery we go. Of course, we do have a pick from somebody, it looks like. So we're projected Phoenix's pick and then Houston's pick, which would be a swap, I believe, if not mistaken. So our pick is going to be 1, but at least Brooklyn, or at least Houston to make the lottery either. So we are going to get their pick, which is nice. But we get Phoenix's pick, which is great. That actually helps out a lot, especially in this draft class. We're going to need it. So let's see if we get lucky here. And Rockets via Washington, our pick ends up being 5. We have 14, and then Phoenix's pick ends up being, damn, it fell to, wait, where is Phoenix's pick? I don't even, oh, number 9. I couldn't see it for a second. Okay. So we have number 9 and number 14. So at least we have 2 lottery picks. It would have been nice to jump up, of course. Portland has a Bulls pick, but of course Portland's pick is protected. Or the Bulls have Portland's pick, but that pick is protected. Same thing with like Charlotte and New York. There's so many, and series. Like right now, I already see like 4 picks I could fix just because 2K's protections aren't correct, which is just so irritating. But whatever. As far as head coaching, head coach is concerned, we can finally get a real one here. So we have Jason Kidd, who once upon a time coached the Brooklyn Nets. Tyronn Lue is here. Frank Vogel is here. Will Hardy's here. Billy Donovan. I'm going to go Frank Vogel. Let's get Frank Vogel to be our new head coach. He's going to be the leader of this rebuild or whatever. So now we can go straight to draft night. I am going to fix a lot of these draft picks because a lot of them have issues here. So I'm going to do that. We have 9 and 14. We get to draft 2 guys here, which is nice. And then we should have probably some cap space in free agency. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to probably offer someone a contract because, like I said, we don't have our draft picks anyway. So we might as well try to go for it. So let's go fix those picks first, though. So jumping into draft night, picking at number 9 and 14. At number 9, we got like Hugo Gonzalez, Bethea. We have Damian Sarr, Carter Bryant, VJ Edgecombe. A lot of good options here, but I am going to start this draft with VJ Edgecombe here out of Baylor. So welcome to Brooklyn, my friend. And at number 14, We have Jalil Bethea. We have Damian Sarr, which I'm going to take Damian Sarr here. So that will be our draft. I actually feel pretty solid about how that went. Getting those two guys late in the draft works out very well for us. Player options, Doug Robinson, we're declining. Shepard, I'm going to accept. He got a bunch of minutes anyway, so we'll bring him back. Daron Sharp, Zero Williams, Cameron Thomas, all free agents. And then free agency is obviously going to be big as well. Okay, so right now we don't really have a point guard at all. We didn't have a point guard. We traded our point guard away. We have VJ Edgecombe and Damian Sarr, which I'm actually cool with both these guys running the 2 spot. But of course, we do have Cameron Thomas, who probably will be re-signed. We have Juju Jackson, Vince Williams, of course, as well. Marjon Beauchamp. We don't have a power forward, and we have Claxton and Clark. So, and then Clowney, and Daron Sharp as a free agent. So, a lot of different things to figure out. But let's get straight into free agency and see if there's anybody worth throwing an offer sheet at or figuring out what we need to do. So, Tatum, you know, we could go sign him, give him a fat offer, but that doesn't really, I don't think that makes a bunch of sense. Evan Mobley, you could throw him an offer sheet as well. Cleveland's probably just going to match it. I think in 2K they don't match it for some reason, but in real life they would absolutely match it. Franz Wagner, Jalen Duren, Fred VanVleet, Jalen Suggs, Josh Giddey, Kuminga, Cameron Thomas. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start with, let's re-sign Cameron Thomas. Let's start there because we're definitely doing that. Daron Sharp, Zero Williams is wanting way too much money for my liking. Robinson, we're not bringing back Ben Simmons. So let's just, like I said, start here. We have a bunch of cap space. We're going to start with re-signing Cameron Thomas. And we can get him on an offer just like we got Claxton. That's fantastic. That money is great. So I'm going to renounce. Zero Williams too. As much as it would have been cool to keep him, we just have so many forwards. I don't think it makes sense to keep him. So Daron Sharp is the other center, which I definitely think it makes sense to keep him around as well. So we're going to do that. So we're going to re-sign Daron Sharp to a deal. And we're going to have still a lot of money left over. So Daron Sharp, welcome in. And now we can figure out what we're going to do now. So now we have money to throw an offer at Cade Cunningham, who for whatever reason, the Pistons decided, you know what, we're not keeping you anymore, I guess. What did Detroit do instead? Maybe they signed someone. They signed DeRozan. Yeah, you know what? Let's just replace Cade with DeRozan. Why not? That makes no sense, but whatever. 2K's like that. Franz Wagner is a free agent. Maybe the Orlando Magic don't want to resign him. I really wish 2K would make it to where these teams prioritize young players, because not very often do restricted free agents just get renounced like that. Doesn't make any sense, but whatever. All right, you got Kuminga down here as well, which we do need a power forward. Kuminga would be worth like just overpaying, and maybe he just is like, you know, Golden State is in a little bit of a money problem as it is, that maybe they wouldn't, you know, be able to match whatever we threw at Kuminga. So I actually could see that happening. I think that makes the most sense here. You know, Golden State has a bunch of tax problems as it is right now. If we gave as much money as possible to Kuminga, give him just a stupid max contract for no reason, I think this is the only way that, you know, you get Kuminga. This is a lot of money for him, and it may not be the smartest idea, but I don't think the Warriors would be able to offer him, a better bag than that. So I am going to offer that to him, and he is going to be 100% on board. The Warriors try to get him back as well, but we're stealing him away. So that is going to be huge for us because like I said, there's no reason for us to suck. So we have Kuminga now. So now we have an interesting roster we're throwing together a little bit. Now we have Claxton, Daron Sharp, Kuminga is the 4. We technically have, we'll figure it out. Cameron Thomas, I don't know if I would want to play him at 2. We have Damian Sarr, VJ Edgecombe. We have Vince Williams. There's going to be so many different things we got to figure out here. We don't have a point guard at all. We don't have a traditional point guard at all. So Brogdon or Trey Jones could be that for us. We have the money to sign Trey Jones. We could throw an offer, or we could sign Cason Wallace, who is here. I don't know why Oklahoma City just let him go, but he shot 49% from 3 last year. I don't sign Cason Wallace ever, and he's here. I'm going to give Cason Wallace a contract. Why not? So we signed Cason Wallace in free agency. The Oklahoma City Thunder decided not to match that or whatever. And boom, I think we have a rotation now. So yeah, we've thrown together a pretty interesting rotation. I don't know if this ends up being a contender by any means, but it's interesting to say the least. It's a lot. I think it would be a more exciting team to watch. If you're a Nets fan, I think you'd be a lot more excited to go watch this team than, you know, Mikal, Finney Smith, and Cameron Thomas. Like, I think this is, I keep saying Cameron Thomas, Cameron Johnson. So I actually didn't mind this offseason very much. I think we did a decent job. Everyone's developing. Now, as far as rotational fit is concerned, that definitely still needs to be figured out because we have a bunch of guards. We have a bunch of forwards. We don't really have a backup shooting or backup point guard right now, but we'll figure that out as time goes on. So let's load a 2026 draft class and let's just keep working at it, man. I think we've done a decent job of throwing together a roster that can eventually turn things around here, and then we aren't going to be totally poverty. and our picks may not totally be going to, always to waste or whatever, going to different teams. So, Casey Wallace, Cameron Thomas, Gigi Jackson, Kuminga, Claxton, Vince Williams, Daron Sharp, Clark, Damian Sarr, and Dariq Whitehead would be our rotation at the moment. So that leaves Edgecombe, Beauchamp out of the rotation. I am going to run 10-man to give Dariq Whitehead some minutes, and then I'm going to send Mr. VJ Edgecombe to the G League, and I'll do the same thing with, I guess one of them was playing, right? I think Damian Sarr was getting minutes, right? Yeah, he was. So Damian Sarr was right on the cusp of getting minutes. We'll give Clowney some G League time as well. So we'll do that, and then I will see you guys at the end of the season. So another season comes to an end. Not a very eventful season for us personally, but I kind of knew this would be a long-term approach. As I mentioned, here were your player stats. You had 22 from Cameron Thomas, 17 from Gigi Jackson, 17 from Kuminga. So we gave Kuminga a bag for him to average 17 points. Not great, not gonna lie, but it's all good. It's all part of the plan. So I think this offseason, I thought this was gonna be a lot longer of a road to take, but I think this offseason we up the aggressiveness. Luka Doncic is in the finals going up against the Cavs, and they lose in 7 games. We got Chris Paul retiring, but yeah, I don't even know what the lottery is going to end up being. So we were projected the Clippers pick. I didn't even know we got a Clippers pick, but you know what? If it ends up being like very high, which ends up being pick 4, that's great. So we get to add another young player to this team, or we can make a big trade if we wanted to as well. Our pick ends up being number 1, of course, but it is going to the Houston Rockets, unfortunately. So this draft, I think, is what draft is this? I gotta refresh my memory. It is the Cameron Boozer draft class. We can get Harrington or Pillow or whatever we want out of this draft if we wanted to. But Frank Vogel is head coach, so all that's looking good. We're not gonna change any of that. Let's go straight to draft night. So I do believe I want to trade for an illegitimate point guard. Casey Wallace, great. If we keep him in the rotation as we trade for a point guard, that's fine. But I do believe I want to trade for a legitimate point guard going forward. I think we're on the cusp of, about to be interesting again. So that's probably the game plan right now, is to trade for a point guard. And what better point guard to try to trade for than Mr. Point Guard himself? I don't know what I'm trying to say. Tyrese Halliburton, man. I'm going to try to shoot for the moon here, and I'm going to go for Tyrese Halliburton off the Indiana Pacers here. Obviously going to be very hard to pull off, but at least we have pick number 4 to try to help us with this. Cameron Thomas, I think I'd be cool with trading away just because we're about to bring in Halliburton. We have plenty of scores as it is. So number 4, Cameron Thomas, and then let's say we traded like one of Damian Sarr or Edgecombe. Maybe we could throw Clark in here as well. Maybe we have the Suns pick that's valuable, this Rockets pick, and then let's say this Nuggets pick. So all of this for Halliburton. Let's see if they say yes. They don't agree to that. All right, so not going to happen there. I think I'm gonna have to trade one of Edgecombe or Sarr. If I threw Sarr in here, does that make it happen? They agree. So just like that, we get Halliburton in Brooklyn, which is nice. We combine him with this rotation. We get to keep Edgecombe instead of Damian Sarr, which is great. So just like that, we have ourselves a contender. I don't know if a contender. We're definitely getting there. We're getting there slowly but surely. So now I have Halliburton, Casey Wallace. You have VJ Edgecombe, who hopefully will develop very nicely. Ben Shepherd, who played with Halliburton for a second there. Gigi Jackson, Kuminga, Claxton, Daron Sharp. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. So, did I think it would, come together this quickly? No, I thought it was going to take a little bit longer than this, but you take advantage while you can. Again, our draft picks are don't belong to us, so we turn this team around fairly quickly. Imagine I could have saved my money for Luka. That'd have been cool, but all good. And then we could sign someone in free agency maybe. But let's see. Do we need anything? Because I think, have a full rotation. So Halliburton, Casey Wallace, Edgecombe, Ben Shepherd, Vince Williams, and Gigi Jackson, Dariq Whitehead as well. Kuminga, and then Claxton, and Daron Sharp. So I think the only thing we maybe need to bring in is a power forward, then we should be good. So backup 4, like Tamani Kamara actually sounds perfect to me as a backup 4. Blazers, please don't ever renounce him for no reason. That'd be dumb. One of our best defenders right now. So we'll bring him in, and that will be our offseason. So Tyrese Halliburton, welcome to Brooklyn, my friend. Maybe you got tired of Indiana because they kept losing the first round. I don't know what happened, but we brought him in. They were rebuilding, so they were willing to move him. So Halliburton is up, Kuminga is up, Gigi Jackson is up, VJ Edgecombe is up, which is great. Everyone is developing. And now we have ourselves a legitimate roster that's going to be a playoff team at the very, very least. I don't know if this is going to be a contender, but we have a playoff team on our hands nonetheless. So let's go ahead and see what this is about to look like. So power ranking does land us 12th overall. We're 3.5 balanced. Can we be a 4-star anywhere? We cannot be. All right, so we're going to be 3.5 balanced, whatever. So Halliburton, Edgecombe, Gigi Jackson, Kuminga, Claxton, Casey Wallace, Tariq Whitehead, Vince Williams, and Daron Sharp, and Toumani Camara. To me, that's a very good rotation. Hopefully, this ends up being a playoff team. It very well should be. If we're a high seed, we'll see as well. That'd be awesome too. But let's just see how the season goes. At the end of the season, Shea wins MVP. Jalen Richardson wins Rookie of the Year, whoever that is. Nikola Topic, 6-man. Wembanyama, Defensive Player. Harper, Most Improved. And Anthony Edwards, Clutch Player. Marks, Coach of the Year. And John Murphy is your executive. So I'm assuming Halliburton gets an All-NBA team because that's the kind of player we traded for. He averaged 20 and 12. I don't think he had as much pressure to score the ball as much, so that's fine. And let's see how it ended up, as far as player stats were concerned. So we ended up with, 20 from Halliburton, 19 from Kuminga, 17 from Gigi Jackson, and 14.5 from Edgecombe, 13 from Tariq Whitehead. So it looks like a lot of the guys that we've, added to this roster have stepped up, which is great. Now it's time to see if this ends up. And by the way, we're the first seed in the East, by the way. Like, I just totally kind of nonchalantly ignored that part. So Charlotte in round 1. So LaMelo Ball versus Halliburton. That would be Cinema for sure. Nembhard was someone we had for a second. They got Benedict Mathurin in Charlotte as well. So let's just see how this goes. Now, for whatever reason, they benched Gigi Jackson, which kind of sucks, but whatever. Let's just see if we can beat Charlotte. Somebody current round against them. And we are going to be in a Game 6 series. No, we're going to a Game 7. So Game 7, they want to fix rotation once again. So Gigi Jackson back in the starting 5. All right, Game 7 in Brooklyn. Hopefully we don't blow this and lose to an AFC. That'd be, kind of, unfortunate. But it's looking good right now, and it looks like we are moving on to round 2. So that's off to a good start. Very tough series, but we get out, which is great. And now we get Halliburton's former team, which they had Jamal Murray. So maybe that's why they were fine with giving up Halliburton. I don't know. But outside of, Cameron Thomas, Jamal Murray, I'm not that intimidated. I think we're going to be able to beat this team. We'll see. I think we have the better roster on paper, but that doesn't always mean anything. Somebody current round against Indiana, and we beat them in 4, and now we're in these conference finals already. So just like that, we went from one of those teams that was absolute poverty to being in these conference finals, going to be against Toronto, who has Scotty Barnes, RJ, Stephon, Tyus Jones, Jakob Poeltl, Grady Dick. They have a very good team as well. Somebody current round against Toronto, 3-0 lead so far, and we're going to sweep them. And just like that, we make it to the NBA Finals. So Halliburton versus Shea should be Cinema as well. Did we turn this around just like that to already go win a championship? I doubt it, because the Thunder do look pretty good on paper, not going to lie. But you never know. Game 1, 1-0. Game 2, just kidding, we're done for here, it looks like. All right, let's backs against the wall. We got, 2 games at home, I think. So let's see if we can come out here and take care of home court. Run an 8-man rotation. We had the lead for a second, but the Thunder take it, and they are running away with it. So we are probably done for here. So we are going to lose to there. So now we go once again here with Game 4 in Brooklyn. Make it to the finals once here, but it looks like unless we come back from a 3-0 lead, which is probably more than likely not happening, we have lost this game. We get swept by the Thunder in the finals. So that's disappointing, to say the least. But hey, we made it to the finals, I guess, but we run it back again. So we're going to go one more season on this and see if we can, have development on our side. Rockets via Washington, and that's pretty crazy. I don't know how long the Rockets pick is lottery protected, so I'll just leave it. Everything's filled out still, so let's just go straight to player options. Wait, I actually might have a draft pick. Let's go see if we have a draft pick, because I wasn't paying attention. We have 13 and 29, so we can draft, which actually, what offseason are we in? We're in, so I can load a draft class really. Oh, just kidding. I waited too long. So these are auto-generated rookies. Let's just see who gets taken. So we get Slaughter and Kurt Kent. Welcome to both of you. DJ Edgecombe, welcome back. And then Clowney, Shepard, Tariq Whitehead, and Toumani Camara, all free agents. Probably guys I all want to bring back. Wemby's a free agent. That'd be awesome if I could bring him in. It would make sense to try to maybe make another big trade, because I think we could use a duo partner for sure. So I'm going to sign Gigi Jackson back. Let's start there. I'm going to resign Tariq Whitehead probably. I'm going to resign Ben Shepherd, and I'm going to resign Clowney. Or we got to wait. So I'm going to sign Clowney back as well. I actually think I'm not done. I want to... Oh, Vince Williams is someone I want back as well. So I actually think I'm about to go look into making a trade to pair Halliburton with another star, because I don't know if we have enough to go back and say, okay, we can beat this team with the Oklahoma City Thunder, or we can beat the Thunder with this team. So I'm going to go see if that's going to be possible. Let's go see if we can. So I'm going to try to add a big to this equation. So I'm looking at a 34-year-old Anthony Davis who's on an expiring contract. Maybe we bring him in, pair him with Halliburton, and go see if we can beat the Thunder with that. Or I do kind of like the idea of Bam as well. But I will shoot for the moon first and Anthony Davis. Let's see. Embiid would be awesome too, but it's probably not going to be possible. So let's see if we can get Anthony Davis off the Lakers. Still averaging 21, 11, and 2 blocks. So yeah, he's 34, but he's still going to be good enough. I think that would be worth trading for him. I think he'll at least be a 90 overall if At least I hope so. So I'm going to try to get Anthony Davis here. I'm going to offer Claxton services. We'll offer Dariq Whitehead services as well, who we just signed. And then let's say is one of Day'Ron Sharpe or Clowney. I guess we got to try to keep one of them. So I'll throw Slaughter in here, who we just got out of the draft. We need a little bit more money in here, though. Maybe it's Vince Williams because we have Gigi Jackson. Maybe it has to be Vince Williams. So all this for Anthony Davis. What do they say? They agree. So we bring in Anthony Davis. So Anthony Davis is the big pairing we have now with Mr. I guess we could have traded Sharpe, not Dariq Whitehead. Whatever, it is what it is. So Day'Ron Sharpe, Clowney, because Clowney could have been our backup center. I just realized. Actually, we could also slide him to power forward as well, so which we'll probably do that. So he'll go to power forward. Now, Anthony Davis is the second guy with, Tyrese Halliburton. Does this work out? Or I guess that remains to be seen. But this is going to be our way of trying to go win a championship. So now we can sign a small forward. We can bring Cameron Johnson back. We can bring Melton in. Bring Bruce Brown in. Markelle Fultz. Give me Josh Green, though. Josh Green's that kind of hustle guy I think you'd want for the playoffs. Damani Kamara is someone I do want back as well. Do I have his bird rights? Kamara? I mean, I would like him back. So hopefully he just signs a offer sheet and then he is back, or a qualifying offer, I should say. And he is back. W. So we get Kamara back. He's up to no, he stays the same. All right. So Anthony Davis is down to 90 overall, but I do still think that was necessary to give us the ammunition to try to go knock off the Thunder if we do find ourselves back in the final. All right, so here we are in this final season. I just cannot wait to see if we can make it and actually beat the Thunder this time. But first and foremost, first step is making it back to the finals. Like that, the reason why we traded for Anthony Davis is we gave him a pairing with which at this point, he's kind of washed. So maybe it would have been better to trade for Bam, but whatever. So we got Anthony Davis. Hopefully, this was kind of like my idea of like Shaq when he got traded to Miami as old as he was, and they got it done winning a championship. That's kind of my dream scenario here. So let's see if it works out. We get the Washington Wizards in round one. We have Harper, Alex Sarr, Walker Kessler, Cameron Boozer, Corey Kispert, LeVert. Somebody come around against them. Obviously, losing round one is doomsday, and we beat them in 7. Thank goodness. Gosh, I thought we were about to lose. Now we get the Magic, who have Paulo and Cade. So Cade is a very nice duo with them. If they could have cut Franz as well, that would have been awesome. But somebody come around against them, and we're up 3-1. And we are back in the conference finals. So that's great. So we're, one step away from, playing the Thunder again. We have Suggs, Murray, Jalen Johnson, Jalen Durn, Okongwu, Kobe Buffkin, Tyler Smith. So one last series to get to the finals. We're in a dogfight here. We got to win 2 straight as we're down 3-2 to Atlanta. So that's not great. All right. Let's see if we can win 2 straight to get into the finals. I really want a rematch against the Thunder. And if we can beat them here, we're going to a game 7 back in Brooklyn. So just don't choke this away. Okay, so we beat them by 4. That was a lot closer than I would have wanted it to be. But game 7 in Brooklyn. Let's see if we can come out here and win this one. And it's not looking particularly great. Please take the lead at the end. We didn't even get the chance to play the Thunder, bro. That's so annoying, man. Maybe Anthony Davis was not the right call. I messed up. Take my L. Take my L. Just like that, we lose in the conference finals to the Hawks, and we're never going to know if Anthony Davis was the right call to try to go play the Oklahoma City Thunder. But I will end it on that note. I did my best, man. The Brooklyn Nets, they're in a bad spot. Traded for Anthony Davis to see what that could have done. Maybe we could have gotten a championship here at the end, but unfortunately, we didn't even get a chance to try to beat the Thunder. The Hawks bested us there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video regardless. Good luck to Brooklyn, man. I'm excited to see what they do because, bro, you're in a rough spot. Other than that, this is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.